Hello and welcome to Ginger Prime. My name is Brian, and today I wanted to dive into the things that you might not know about using a controller in the world of Final Fantasy XIV. Now, if you want to jump to any specific part of this video, you can always use the YouTube playhead below to easily scrub through this video to find the information that you need so you can get back into gaming as fast as possible. Also, if you have any questions and this video doesn't answer them, please sound off in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them there or in future follow-up videos if needed. If you're looking for more specific information regarding Final Fantasy XIV, be sure to check the top link in the description for my Final Fantasy playlist, and hopefully you're going to find something that you enjoy. Now, at the time of this recording, we're getting closer to our goal of 50,000 subscribers here on Ginger Prime, and if you haven't subscribed yet, let me know in this video so I can welcome you officially to the channel. And if you're already subscribed, you know you're already a true legend, a beautiful human being, and it's no surprise to you that you get free compliments just for subscribing alone. So anyway, that's it for this intro. Let's go ahead and jump in the guide, and I do want to say a special thanks to Anita C for being the sponsor member for this specific video. If you guys are interested in, you can join the channel for just $1 and help support content like this, or you can just watch the videos, and that's also helpful as well. So thank you for being here. Let's go ahead and start with this guide. Now, ultimately, I'm using here an Xbox controller. If you're using like a PlayStation 4 or 5 controller, sometimes on Windows you might need to install the DS4 Windows software, but ultimately it is pretty simple and straightforward. I'm actually using a wireless controller. Wired work just fine. I do have a preference for this type of controller because I have the back paddles, which I use as my R3 and my right bumper and my left bumper. So typically when I'm targeting within the game itself, I tend to be able to have a lot of focus to be able to, like, if I hold the trigger, I can easily tab target by just tapping the back panel here. So you can see me doing that right here. It's easier than just tapping the bumpers, but that's just my personal preference. I also can use the chat pad if necessary, but I want to dive into our first tips here. If you guys are not aware, you can always change the camera angle by holding down the L1 or L bumper button and pressing forward and back on the stick. This gives you that ultimate kind of zoom functionality. But beyond just using that for the camera, this also becomes your auto run button. So you can see here I'm just auto running, and it works until you change direction. You can just tap, have your little character auto run there. Now, beyond just using those simple tricks for being able to move the camera and kind of just overall quality of life, I do want to highlight something that a lot of people don't know about this game, and that's actually being able to remap your right click and your left click buttons accordingly. So if I actually click this, you can see here, instead of putting me into a first person view, it has now summoned a mount. And so you might be asking yourself, how did you do that? So let me go ahead and show you that right now. Let's start in system configuration. You can do this by hitting start, or if you're in typical Windows mode, if you've never used a controller, you can easily swap between the two. And if you want to be able to use these legacy menus as a part of that, even while using controller play, you can still manage that here within your settings as well. But we'll show that here in just a minute. Now, first and foremost, system configuration. You want to hop down here to controller settings. Then you want to go to your button configuration and begin configuration. Here you can actually remap any and all of your button options. So if you find something a little bit more comfortable and to your style, there you go. You're very welcome. But here you can see left click and right stick click right here. This one is still set to draw weapon and lock on, but you can also change this to execute a macro in the 98 or 99 slot. And you can see here on my right stick, which was originally I forget, it was like reset camera position or change camera, something like that. I have now set it to execute macro 99. And that means whenever I press down on this stick, I will actually execute a macro. So let me go and show you guys the macro that I have created over here under user macros. And then in the 99th position under the individual, they later added the shared tab, which is across all your characters. But in the individual, this is where the original spot 99 is. And if we take a look here at this macro, I first turn off errors, just in case you don't want to get this hey, you can't do this, little annoying error message. You can also manage this within your chat settings, but this is pretty straightforward and simple. I have AC flying mount roulette, and then I also have AC sprint. So this is going to use what I call fail through methodology, meaning it's going to first try and do a mount. And if I cannot mount, then it's going to use the sprint action. So if you think about something like dungeons, I can't mount up in dungeons, so it's automatically going to default to sprint, so I don't have to worry about it. I set the macro icon here at macro icon flying mount roulette, just so it kind of stands out in that regards, because if I'm just playing the game normally, if I press the button, you can see here, I am going to go ahead and pull out a mount and be able to ride this mount. For some reason, my mount hasn't loaded into memory, which is kind of cute and interesting to me personally. Oh, it's the whale. It's the whale. All right, that was fun. I was just like, why is it not showing me the mount? All right, so anyhow, I've got the, I can easily do that. Now, if I am running, it's going to try and summon my mount, which is not going to be work. So if you want to utilize this, you want to jump and then press the button to execute sprint where you can mount up. But if you're, say, in a house, a dungeon, a city, somewhere a mount cannot come out, then there you go. So again, I'll try to include that macro in the description of this video so you can just copy and paste it if you decide to go this way. But beyond that macro itself, just as a note, you can set it to any macro. Like this can be any kind of function that you want. And in the 98 slot as well, you can have that function as well. You see here, I use a lot of macros. This is from years and years of different macros and things like that. So that's not necessarily as important. But if you're just curious, yeah, I do a lot of macros here. And maybe I should probably put a guide out for you guys. If you guys want that, be sure to let me know if you want more macro guides here on the channel. And I'll see if I can't bring that to you. So, okay, so we're going to continue with our controller tips and tricks if you guys aren't aware. I'm going to pull up the map here, and in this case I have my map to the Y button. But you can see here just generally a map. If I want to go ahead and teleport anywhere, I can press the select button within the map itself, and I can press up to kind of go into a world map and get a little bit bigger of a picture from where I'm at. Let's say I want to go ahead and just teleport in here to Mordona. On this map, if you're using a controller, you just kind of highlight the blue area, you press R bumper, and it's going to take you right into the map, which can be handy. You can press it again and actually get into more of the locational map. And from here, you can actually, and it will snap to the Aetheryte, you can actually click R bumper again to easily teleport to the Aetheryte itself. So if I go ahead and just accept that and use one of my little Aetheryte tickets, it's going to go ahead and just teleport me where I want to go. I didn't have to bring up any special thing on the keyboard. I didn't have to do any special additional magic. And so whenever you're kind of navigating any particular map, you can always, again, just like with your camera, hold down L bumper and press up and back on the stick to be able to zoom in and out easily, and you can kind of close that map down by pressing the map button as well. I believe the default mapping has it switched because I have X set as my jump button. I think Y by default is people's jump button and X is the map, but it is what it is. And if you're on PlayStation, just know it's the same position. So X, Y, triangle, circle, square, X, etc., or cross is what they call it. All right, so now let's go ahead and get into some combat basics because this becomes really important. If I go ahead and summon out my Chocobo here, just to kind of give some ideas of what's happening, especially when we're in a party. Let's go ahead and say summon. At level 30, you'll get your Chocobo Companion. If you guys have not unlocked that yet, your Chocobo Companion is a really big asset to the game. I'm going to go ahead and mount up using my little right stick, and being that it's I have flying unlocked, I can easily just kind of jump in here and get to some enemies real quick. And welcome back. I had to do a little bit of a jump cut because I kept just one-shotting enemies, so I wasn't able to really kind of give you guys a good overview of targeting when it comes to the controller itself. So you can see here I can press A and it will automatically default to whatever target is nearest that I'm clearly facing. You can always use left and right on the D-pad to cycle through multiple targets, but you can set up a couple different filters. If I just press down on the left click stick here, you can see now I have got my weapon out and it's only going to focus in on targets that are targetable in case like enemies and things like this. To show you how to set those filters, it's under System and Character Configuration. And from here, under the Filters tab, when my weapon is sheathed, put away, I will allow myself to target non-player PCs, alliance members, all enemies, aggroing enemies, and more. And when my weapon is out, I'm going to only have it set to enemies in this case. Enemies, aggroing enemies, duty-specific enemies specifically. You can create a couple additional filters that you can cycle through by holding down L1 and pressing one of the face buttons. And that is essentially going to give you a lot of flexibility in terms of how you target. But let me show you that in practice. So here I am, I'm going to go ahead and start attacking with an auto attack with him. Now I can easily do a soft target. You can see here with that circle, I'm now soft targeting that enemy, and if I press A, I'm now hard targeting them, and you can see the clear difference in how that they're set up and targeting. I pressed A again because above the targeting, you'll see that little circle kind of moving. That's telling me that I'm actually currently auto-targeting. So in this case, I've now switched my hard target over here, but I have yet to start auto-targeting, and thus I've now pressed A, and I'm going from there to make that actually happen. All right. So beyond that, let's say I want to kind of really get a good clean target. You can also press down the L or the R to kind of bring up your skills, and then pressing the right bumper or the left bumper will actually also do a cycling of your targets as well. So if you're in the thick of things and you need to change targets easily, you can do so by managing that methodology. So anyway, I'm gonna go and reset enemies aggro, so that way we can continue on. So there's a lot of different flexibility there, and again, I would highly recommend you check out my full ultimate controller guide, which goes into depth over this like long period of time through all your different targeting options and more. But hopefully that's something that you might not know about using the controller. All right, let's go ahead and bring up the map again. And this time, instead of teleporting, let's go check out the Black Shroud. Let's say we wanted to go here into the Black Shroud and I wanted to tell my party members to meet me at a location. On the controller, I can press the left bumper and the right bumper at the same time, and it's going to set this little flag. This is going to make it easy for me to find locations. I can see the flag on my map and on my mini map, and beyond that, down here in the bottom right hand corner, I now have had this flag command auto added. If I go ahead and press enter, you can send this to your party or to a link shell or what have you. It's going to give me a coordinate location. If I click on this, if anybody in my party clicks on this, it will automatically add that flag to their map. So when you're trying to find things or you're trying to get a group together and do specific things, note that you have the ability to flag a map. This comes in really big handy. Great language here, only at Ginger Prime. You'll have the ability to, like for hunts and maps and things like that, to be able to kind of communicate locations, which will make it easier for people to find you out in the open world and group together. So with that, we come to the end of this video. Hopefully there's been some interesting tips and tricks that you have found in this video itself. If you did, be sure to let me know. Hit that like, hit that share button if you really found something valuable in this video. That's the best way you can help a creator grow on the YouTube platform, is by sharing out their content. I really do appreciate it. Thanks to all my members who support the channel financially, so that can help me and my family, and I really appreciate each and every one of you for being here. And thanks to the over 37,000 of you who've subscribed at this point, and hopefully we'll get to that 50,000 by the end of 2021. I'm really excited. It's been a great year, and I really couldn't be more thankful for y'all's support, and I'm glad that you guys enjoy the content that I make here on the platform. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for me, guys. I'll wave to the camera. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you have a fantastic day, and I hope to see you in my next video, but until then, take care.